A royal family blessed with wealth but burdened by a strange prophecy. After many years of trying to have a child, Queen Amora visited the powerful oracle of the Red Moon during a rare celestial event once every 17 years. The oracle, her face glowing from the sacred fire, spoke words that would haunt the royal family forever. 2 souls will enter your womb, but only one will take a breath in this world. The twin who is never born will remain in the shadow realm, neither dead nor alive, watching over your kingdom until the day the barrier between worlds weakens. The queen returned home filled with both hope and fear. She told her husband, King Jelani, who immediately ordered that no one should speak of twins when the child was born. He feared that acknowledging the unborn twin might attract dark forces to the kingdom. The royal healers carefully tended to the queen, preparing special herbs and performing ancient rituals to ensure a safe birth. 9 moons later, on a dark night with no stars, Queen Amora gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Zara. The kingdom celebrated, but deep inside, the queen felt an odd emptiness, as if someone was missing. The midwives whispered among themselves about hearing 2 heartbeats during the pregnancy, but none dared mention it to the king. The royal family introduced Princess Zara to the kingdom, and celebrations lasted 7 days and 7 nights. But unknown to all except the oracle, something else existed beyond the physical world. A presence stirred in the shadows, watching, waiting, forever connected to Princess Zara by a force stronger than blood. The twin that was never born had begun its silent watch over the kingdom, its presence felt only in the occasional cool breeze that swept through the palace when everything was still. As Princess Zara grew, she became a lively child with eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. By the time she was 5, she had developed a strange habit talking to someone no one else could see. She called this invisible companion Izei, her shadow friend. The palace servants dismissed it as a child's imagination, but Queen Amora shivered at the name. In the language of their ancestors, Zuri and Zuri were names given to twin girls, meaning beautiful and magnificent. During the day, Zara played in the palace gardens, setting 2 spots at her small table, keeping half her snacks untouched, and pausing as if listening to someone answer her. Zoe doesn't like bitter herbs, she would say, or Zoe says it will rain tomorrow. Strangely, her predictions were always right. Concerned, King Jelani called healers from across the kingdom to examine her, fearing she was ill, but they found nothing wrong. One night, a servant saw something terrifying: Zara's shadow moving on the wall, even though she was fast asleep. Shaken, the servant reported it to the royal advisor, who suggested bringing Makena, a wise woman known for her ability to communicate with spirits. Makena observed the princess for a night before privately speaking to the queen. With trembling hands, she confirmed Amora's deepest fear. "Your Majesty, the twin that was never born walks beside your daughter. They are one soul in 2 forms, one of flesh, one of shadow." From that moment, the royal family quietly watched over Zara, keeping her away from large crowds and instructing guards to report anything strange. But despite their efforts, rumors spread. People whispered about the princess who was never alone, whose shadow moved on its own, and who knew things she could not possibly know. At 12 years old, Princess Zara found a secret passage hidden behind a tapestry in her room. Following the narrow corridor with a single candle, she discovered a circular chamber filled with ancient scrolls and relics. At the center stood an unusual mirror framed with symbols of the moon. It was the royal chamber of divination, locked away since her birth. Zara felt drawn to the mirror, and as she looked into it, she saw not her reflection but another girl, one who looked exactly like her but had eyes as dark as the night sky. "Sister," the reflection spoke, making Zara stumble back in shock. "Don't be afraid. I am Zuri, the twin who was never born. I do not breathe in your world, but I exist between realms. I have been with you since before your first cry, watching, protecting, waiting." Though surprised, Zara felt no fear. Instead, she felt as if she had found something she had always been missing. That night, Zuri explained the truth through the mirror, the prophecy, their shared existence, and her ability to see beyond the kingdom's borders, even glimpsing the future. "Our bond grows stronger as we age," Zuri said. "Soon, I will do more than whisper warnings. The barrier between our worlds weakens with each cycle of the red moon." Night after night, Zara returned to the hidden chamber, learning from her shadow twin. Together, they made a promise: Zara would live for both of them in the world of the living, while Zuri would watch over her from the realm of shadows. One of flesh, one of shadow, bound forever in perfect balance. As Princess Zara's 16th birthday approached, the age when she would begin training to rule, trouble grew in the kingdom. King Joloni's cousin, Sefiu, had always wanted the throne. He had envied the king, so the were youths, and spread rumors that Zara was cursed. He claimed her strange behavior proved she was unfit to rule. Sefiu told the people that dark magic had tainted the royal bloodline and that only he could restore honor to the throne of Zambezi. Through Zuri's ability to move unseen in the shadow realm, the twins discovered Sefiu's plan. He would poison the king during the ascension ceremony. He has joined forces with the sorcerer Jebori from the Ashen Mountains. Zuri told Zara in a secret meeting. They have created a poison that leaves no trace, made from ghost viper venom and the pollen of the midnight bloom. It will be in the ceremonial wine, and people will think the king died naturally. Zara wasn't sure whether to warn her father immediately or gather more proof to expose Sefiu completely. She told her mother, who had come to accept Zuri's existence over the years. Queen Amora, wise in court politics, advised patience. "If we accuse Sefiu without proof, he will know we suspect him. We must be as silent as a leopard before it strikes." They came up with a plan that needed both twins working together, Zara in the living world and Zuri in the shadows. The ceremony would take place during the red moon, when the barrier between worlds was weakest. It was their best chance to save the king and reveal the power of the twin who was never born. On the night before Zara's ceremony, the first glimpse of the red moon lit the sky, casting a strange red glow over Zambezi. In the palace, preparations for the grand event continued, unaware of the growing danger. Zara stood on her balcony, staring at the glowing moon. She could feel Zuri's presence growing stronger beside her. "Tonight marks the start of my 3 nights of manifestation," Zuri said. She had gathered her strength for months, knowing the red moon would allow her to partially enter the physical world. Queen Amora joined Zara on the balcony. She gasped as Zara told her about Zuri. Though she had believed in her existence, hear Zara talk about her and tell her twin was with them but invisible was overwhelming. Tears filled her eyes. "My daughters," she whispered, reaching out. Her hand passed through Zuri's shadowy figure. The oracle's prophecy never called this a curse but a gift. "You are 2 halves of one royal soul, each with strengths the other does not have." The twins shared their plan with the queen. Zuri would move through shadows to spy on Sefiu, while Zara would prevent the king from drinking the poison wine. But what they did not know was that Sefiu had his own oracle, a bonecaster from the western lands. The oracle had warned him of a shadow that watches, and advised him to perform a ritual to block the connection between the living world and the shadow realm during the ceremony. The day of the ceremony arrived with celebration. The palace was full of chiefs, kings, and villagers. Princess Zara, dressed in royal attire, appeared calm. Inside, she was talking to Zuri, who had been watching Sefiu since morning. As Zara walked through the crowd, something suddenly changed. Her connection to Zuri vanished. The emptiness was like losing part of herself, making her stumble slightly. At that moment, deep beneath the palace, Sefiu completed his ritual. He burned rare herbs and chanted ancient spells, activating artifacts the Boncaster had given him. This created a temporary wall between the realms. In the shadow world, Zuri found herself trapped. She could sense the ceremony happening but couldn't reach her sister or see into the living world. Worse still, she had just discovered the truth. Sefiu wasn't only targeting the king. The poison was meant for the entire royal family. King Jelani, dressed in ceremonial robes, introduced Zara as his heir. Sefiu stood among the king's advisors, wearing a fake smile while hiding his true intentions. The ceremonial wine was placed before the royal family in gold cups. Zara, desperate to reconnect with Zuri, realized she had to act alone. As Zara struggled in the living world, Zuri found herself deeper in the shadow realm than ever before. Sefiu's magic hadn't just blocked her, it had pushed her into a strange space called the kingdom between heartbeats. Here, reality shifted between familiar places and strange, ever-changing shapes. Ancient spirits known as the guardians of the veil moved in the darkness. They were tall, with faces that changed depending on how Zuri looked at them. One guardian stepped forward. It didn't speak with words but instead placed thoughts directly into her mind. Child of two realms, you should not be this deep in the shadows. The wall separating you from the living world is strong but temporary. We sense your fear and the danger your twin faces. Zuri explained her situation. Instead of speaking, she projected her thoughts. The guardian considered for a moment, then said, "There is a way to break the barrier, but it requires a sacrifice. To enter the physical world despite this magic, you must give up part of your connection to this realm." The meaning was clear and frightening. If Zuri gave up a part of herself to break through, she would become trapped in the realm. Zuri knew what she had to do. With determination, she started the ritual the guardian had placed in her mind. She called upon the power of the shadows to open a path back to her twin. As she chanted, she felt herself dissolving, becoming part of the darkness she controlled. The royal house was filled with guests as the ceremony reached its peak. The royal family stood together, holding ceremonial cups for the traditional toast that would confirm Princess Zara as heir to the throne. King Jelani lifted his cup and spoke with authority. "May our ancestors guide us, may our kingdom prosper, and may our family stay strong through all challenges." "Forgive me, Father," she said loudly. "Treachery." Zara's voice rang out. "The wine is poisoned. This ceremony is under attack." Guards rushed to protect the royal family as panic spread among the guests. From across the room, Sefiu, one of the king's advisors, realizing his plan had failed, he tried to escape but the palace guards held him back. Princess Zara later confirmed to the people, Sefiu's conspiracy had been growing for years. He wants to kill the royal family and take over the throne. The kingdom was shocked. But thank you to Zuri, my better half, the kingdom was thrown into confusion as they wondered who the better half was. Not long the older seer came forward and confirmed the throne had two heirs. one to lead from the spiritual realm and the other to lead in the physical. And then Kingdom of Zambezi thrived under the guardianship of its unique royal family, secure from both mortal and supernatural threats. The kingdom stretched vast and strong, its people unaware of the unseen forces constantly at work to maintain balance. As the red moon bathed the land in its eerie light, the veil between worlds wavered slightly, as if acknowledging the twin princesses, one of shadow, one of light, who now stood as the bridge between realms. A new era had begun.